Hey guys, it's Greg, Danny, and Joe here from Ritual Gaming, and we are bringing you episode 10. We have made it. This one actually has a title this time, and it is called Guilds Galore, because we're stoked. Guilds are here, and we've had, I don't know, how long? What, a couple days, right?
Yeah, like three days?
3 days
Two.
now.
2 or 3, I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, not that long.
To experience the wonderfulness that is guilds. People have had some pretty varied opinions on them, so we got a lot to talk about. So last episode we talked a lot about the guild dailies, how those were going to work out. We kind of theorized that it was definitely going to be pretty hard. But Joe, what do you think of the guild dailies so far?
They turned out to be much easier than expected, actually, because what we presumed is that every single person is on the same reset, and of course that's not the case. The guild has a reset, and everyone else has their own personal one. And so for that reason, for example, ours comes right kind of smack bang in the middle of it, and that gives us 2 days at which to refresh things like light side battles and cantina instead of having to do it all in 1 day. So 700 plus suddenly becomes doable with 500 or 600, and it's a big difference.
When half your guild gets to do it twice, it's just that much easier.
I mean, it's not even half the guild. I feel like
Well, I mean,
everyone...
being, just in case maybe some of them are in the same exact time zone.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it definitely worked out to be a lot cheaper than we theorized. I'm actually surprised when I listen back to that episode that none of us came up with the idea that maybe this was a possibility, that there would be resets during it, because this is an extended period of time. But I think we all thought that we'd have a lot less time to do the guild dailies than you actually, like 24 hours is actually, that's what it is, right? 24 hours?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good amount.
It's just, I guess the only person it sucks for is the guy whose reset time is the exact same time as the... No, even our leader's reset time is not the same as the guild's reset time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is it? Is it different?
No, it's different. So our guild reset time is about 8 a.m. our time, and I know for a fact that our guild leader's start time is 12 hours off that. So I think it might have done a 12-hour stagger from the guild leader's start time, maybe to avoid that exact problem. I don't know.
So maybe they anticipated this. No, go ahead. What were you saying, Dave?
That's a good point. But no, I do find that it was eating my credit pool at first, but just thinking about it, I think staggering out your output of credits in different ways is kind of just going to become a thing now.
Yeah.
And I mean, on days where there's Galactic War and you don't need to spend any credits, I don't think I'm going to.
Yeah. It didn't help that day one was Cantina, which is the most expensive one of them all. So I think that put a...
And Greg was saying he kind of messed up with that and put a whole bunch of credits in there.
That and a lot of people didn't plan ahead. Oh, well, didn't plan ahead. They did plan ahead. They planned ahead for what didn't happen, which was light side battles. And then Cantina was there, and everyone was pretty upset that they'd stockpiled, in some cases, almost thousands of energy.
Yeah.
Many people had between 500 and 1,000 energy stockpiled just for this, and then they just said, oh, by the way, it's Cantina, not regular battles.
I definitely messed up because I thought it was going to be the light side battles, and I spent all my Cantina in the morning when I woke up, and then guilds came in, and it was Cantina. So definitely paid the price there. But it was fine. It worked out. So world time zones actually really help. We were all kind of worried about this since we don't live in the time zone of our guildees, I guess, most of the people that are in our guild. So that was really cool. Now let's discuss the initial pay-to-win reaction of guilds. A lot of people have been, talking online about how they really feel like they don't enjoy the aspect of the competition within the guild members competing against each other, people in the guild being rewarded for spending more. For instance, the top 3 of each daily, they get more rewards and stuff like that. Danny, what do you think about that stuff?
Okay. Well, I think some days it might even out where obviously they're not going to want to spend that much and you'll have a chance, which is fine. And if they're spending more, they get to earn more. You know what I mean? In the long run, if I'm not blowing $200 a day just to get guild rewards, I'm pretty happy. You know what I mean? It's their reward for paying their money. So let them have it. It's just like anything in the game, right?
Yeah, I fully agree with you. I think I'm surprised. I'm actually kind of surprised. I shouldn't be surprised by a negative reaction because it seems like that's all that the community gives at times to this game. But I think the people that are doing that stuff, like that is their reward to take, right?
Yeah,
This
exactly.
is never claimed to be a free-to-play game. And people that thought that they were going to get, really high guild rewards right away as free-to-play players, I mean, you're just dreaming.
Pretty naive, yeah.
Yeah, and another thing to consider is the actual difference between coming first and 21st is not that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's maybe 100 guild shipment credits. So, we're realistically talking what amounts to the equivalent of 1.5 character shards per day.
And also, I mean, there's days like today where it's Galactic War.
Everyone's on even playing ground, yeah.
Yeah, everyone has a chance to be tied for first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, where it's really gonna be a bit more prevalent, but even there's a disclaimer. A lot of people are getting upset about the way that they have the tiered rewards for the raid as well. And I think even there, we'll get to it in a bit, it's not as bad as people are making out, considering very few people actually have received a guild reward yet, a raid reward yet.
Yeah. I saw a couple people making the argument online where they were saying, why do I have to compete against my guildmates in this sense? It shouldn't be about competing against them. We should all be obtaining the same reward. We should be working together for this. And they were saying, no other game does this. But I think tons of other games actually do
I was
this.
going to say, have you ever played a game where they have guilds, is my question to them. Because the majority of games I played that had guilds, exactly the same system.
Yeah, DKP, if anyone, I mean, I used to raid in WoW, and our guild had the DKP system. A lot of the people that were, better at DPS, better healing, blah, 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 all those guys, they get the rewards first, and then it kind of trickles down. And so, yeah, if you're one of those bottom guys, it takes a while to work your way up, but as I think we're going to go into here, it's not impossible. It just takes longer. Like, why are people assuming that these rewards are going to come right away? Like, give it to me right now. Because then it would just be the polar reverse reaction of being like, oh, the raids are too easy, we just get all the things.
Yeah.
And another thing I don't really
Nobody's
understand.
happy.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing I don't understand, too, is people are always talking about, the shards that they could be making using their energy for other things, right? Like the energy spent isn't worth for the guild activities when you could be just getting other shards. But who cares? Like, what are you doing with those shards once you get those characters to level 7?
All right, I've got a suggestion for those people. Leave the guild, and then do whatever you want in the other part of the game that already existed. This is a new
play by
part of the
yourself.
game.
Yeah.
Like, this is extra,
Yeah.
You do not need to take part in this if you don't want to. And if you prefer to go and farm your 6 hard modes a day, go and do it, and you can have fun that way if that's how you want to play the
being
game.
all by yourself.
Yeah.
Some people play one-player games, some people like the guild side, but I mean, as guys who make a podcast who try to interact with the community a lot, I guess we're obviously biased towards group efforts. The most exciting thing for us is we're all in a guild, right? We're all in a guild together.
Yeah.
And we have a little
Best
bit of
friends.
We're also looking at a raid which is going on as we speak. We're already bantering about who's got the slight advantage on damage put out on the rank.
Go ahead, Joe. It's you.
Yeah, it's Joe. It's Joe.
So
Big deal. It's not a big deal.
I had to get it back after we found out that Danny had the highest power rating of us. It's that kind of thing. That's it. That right there is exactly why it's so good. Because tomorrow it won't be me; it'll be someone else. Because Greg or Danny will go and figure out a better tactic to use his characters and not tell us about it.
And I think too, maybe if people are listening to us talk about this, they might be thinking that we're rank 1, 2, and 3 in the guild or something like that. We're not at all.
No.
I'm sitting right now at 20th in our raid. Danny's below me, of course. at
Yeah,
22, and Joe's like
So-
at 13. We're not even in the top 10.
no,
Well, we've
However-
never claimed to be whales. We've always claimed to be semi-free-to-play players.
Yeah.
So this is just testament to how you can enjoy the game without paying money and not be disappointed with everything.
yeah, I'm quite proud of being 13th in a competitive guild that have almost finished a raid on the
Yeah.
first day it's been available
Yeah.
in 13th place. Like, considering I haven't spent enough money to even have Iridium packs available to me, I think that's sort of an achievement in itself.
That's like the little feather in your head, eh, Joe? Yes.
Well, no, because
I didn't spend as much as you guys did.
no. Actually, this comes from this. I just realized what that sounded like. But no, I was thinking this was from a discussion I was just having in the Team Skunk chat, where people were saying like, "Oh, how much have you?" Because our guild is quite spread. I think some people have done a fair amount, some people haven't. We're the second tier guild, right? The first tier guild are bananas, like giant rosters, and we're kind of half that and then half very competitive. Semi free to play players, as I guess we keep calling ourselves.
Yeah.
And so it's everyone has their place in the ladder, and if you're angry that the people that pay have the top, like, you're angry about a very irrational thing.
Yeah.
But let's get on with it instead of bashing on it.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, I saw that point so much, and I'm just thinking like, especially that shard argument where people are saying, I could be getting so many more shards. Then you can just sit there and just imagine them in front of their phone being like, oh, look at all my pretty little things. This is my collection. This is for me.
I knew that.
It's the same kids that kicked everyone out of the sandbox at school and just kept all the shovels to themselves.
These are my shovels. Let's do a quick guild shout out, actually. So people were wondering in the comments of last episode why we decided not to make a guild. We actually ended up joining the Team Skunk community.
Omega.
Yeah, so we're in the Team Skunk Omega guild, which is the second one. And it's a really great community, really fun to work with those
dudes.
guys.
Yeah.
Really full of awesome dudes, and led up by Grand Patron, who's been
Doing a
pretty
good job.
much. Yeah, he was one of the lead men on making sure all the guilds got populated. So that
Also,
poor
we
guy.
want you on here soon, dude.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
that guy got
we actually
punished
wanted
the last couple of days. So fair play.
we wanted to have him on, but we're actually all taking a trip soon. Unfortunately, not Star Wars related, and we won't be able to make a video for a little while. So we had to make this one quickly, last minute.
Yeah,
The
we're all
three of
taking
us
a trip
are-
together.
That's kind of funny, but it's true.
Yeah,
We're all going on holiday together.
we spend all our holidays together.
We're actually all in the same house right now. We're just in our personal.
Just different rooms.
We like our space. Okay, so quickly, two last points about guilds. Guild shop randomizes, which kind of sucks. I wish if they were going to randomize it, then it would be cool if it was like changed once a month, something like that. But even then, that could be annoying. But so it's going to make it a little bit harder to get Gamorrean Guard or Shards or Jawa Engineer. But Ray's in there, that's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. One thing that made me, I was kind of excited about with guilds, and now I guess with people on your friends list, is that you can see other people's inventories, which just made me feel so sad when I was like,
Don't look at me.
Yeah.
Don't look at me.
Yeah, I showed you guys that dude on my server, the guy who I've complained about many times on the show.
It was gnarly.
He was gnarly, and then I looked at him today, and his guild are actually the first guild to have completed a raid in the
What's the
entire
name of
game.
the guild I was wondering, Joe?
NSC
Do you know?
Gold.
NSC Gold. They were the first people to pop up with 30 guild points, and I'm like, no wonder that dude's sitting on my server.
What did they do? Did they do tier 5?
Yes, because they got 30 raid points, so they must have done tier 5.
Okay.
Because you get 35 or 40 for doing tier 6. I don't
Right.
think anyone's completed that yet. But
don't know. Yeah.
I know our first tier guild, Team Alpha, they are currently cracking at it. And
Oh,
we
really?
got a
Really?
Yeah, and we got a message from Yo. Oh, actually, no, he's not in that guild. Team Instinct are also cracking at it.
Ah, okay.
So maybe it's Team Instinct that are cracking at it, not.
It'd be pretty cool to see who gets it done first.
Well, Yoda's message to the group today is he just popped into the chat for 2 seconds and said, "Hey guys, just a note. Tier 6 is insane. Good luck."
Damn.
That is all.
My
Yeah.
squad already got pretty destroyed by tier 5. So let's go on to our next topic. Let's talk about raids. So we already talked about competing against your fellow raiders for gear drops, so that's out the window. People want more gear to drop from raids, so you know what? Let's not talk about that right now. We just kind of complained a bit.
We just bashed about complainers.
Let's talk about how cool the raid is. Joe,
Yeah.
what do you like about the raid so far?
That I still don't understand it. I went in, I took my first team in, I took a Jedi healer team into the Gamorrean guards section, the first phase, and I thought, looking at the stats and everything, that my Jedi healer team was smart. They were doing ability buffs and debuffs, and I could use Qui-Gon to remove it, and they just wrecked me. They absolutely wrecked me. My team got off about 25,000 points of damage. Then I took in my DPS team, my droids team, and absolutely rinsed them. So it was, and then I got told, but you don't want to do that because the later phases, you really need a high DPS team. So
Yeah.
I think what I'm really getting at is we don't know yet, and people are experimenting and people are figuring it out. And this is the joy of any raid at any game. Those first people into the dungeon, they take 24 hours to do it, and then the next people take 20, and then the next few, and in a few weeks this will be trivial. We'll be busting it out in a heartbeat.
I think anyone that had an Akbar at 5 stars plus must have been really excited for that first one, because when I went into it and the what's it called? The death mark?
Death mark,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, that one's crazy. I can see why it messed up your Jedi healer team.
But that's it, because there I was for the long run trying to tank it out, and then they just death marked, slam, Qui-Gon died with giving 0 damage to the boss.
What I really like about the whole system too is that you can, for example, for me, exact same thing with you, Joe, where I went into the Gamorrean guard level, and I got a lot of DPS done, but I lost a lot of guys, and I thought, you know what, I could do more. And then I tried the second phase once our guild had gotten there, pushed to it, and I thought, you know what, I could have used my DPS team a lot better here and contributed more to the actual fight. I love that you can choose when you want to do these things, because you can get your guild to carry you past Gamorrean guards, and then you get into the next phase, and then you can dump all your damage in there if that's where your guys are best,
Yeah, it's just what your guys are suited for, and that's when you get to work together and actually use the guild chat and stuff and be like, hey, you guys go in here, finish these guys off so then we can take over.
Yeah.
Yeah, and our guild is spread over several time zones, so it makes that kind of thing really interesting.
Yeah.
We did chat to someone earlier on, and this is a point we got in the notes here. I was chatting to someone from a Brazilian guild who were one amongst, I think they were the second or third people to do it, and he came into the chat and was like, "Oh yeah, we finished it in an hour." And everyone freaked, how on earth did you do that? And they're all in the same time zone. And the raid resets based on the guild leader. They're also a pretty heavy-hitting guild, obviously.
Right.
And so what they did is 30 minutes before the guild leader's personal reset, which is what establishes when the raid refreshes come around, the character refreshes come around, they all went in and they all slammed out their 5 battles as quickly as they could with their just high damage DPS teams and whatever to just clear, and they got through the first 2 phases pretty much.
Wow.
And then 30 minutes later, they all got 5 more back. And so essentially they put in, 10, 500 attempts in 1 hour.
Oh, that's way more fun, because I think our guild, our raid will be over before our refresh. And
Yeah.
And I want to do it again. I want to play more.
Yeah.
We're already halfway back to refreshing it again, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, that's, obviously the real hardcore have come out and figured out how to just game this tier 5. So that's what tier 6 is for those guys who cruise through 5 in an hour.
Yeah.
Who do you guys think are going to be good in the different levels of the raid? Any ideas? I mean, obviously Akbar for clearing the death mark in the first part is really, really useful. But besides that, I was thinking with droids, when you go to the 3rd phase, I believe it is, you can use your activation to topple them over with the door, and then you get 100% crit rate chance.
Oh,
So,
the second phase, that is, yeah.
yeah, is it the second phase?
It's the second phase
Oh,
where
okay,
where
same.
you hit the button
Yeah,
and then you can attack.
you can
He
topple
falls
him
over.
over.
You can
Now,
you can
imagine
attack.
if you took a HK-47 led droid team. Obviously, we're talking about droids, you know. But if you
Deal
took
with
an
it.
HK-47 led droid team in there and got turn meter for your crits, it would be pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Not bad at
Yeah,
all.
just give anybody like that has crit advantage.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah.
You
In
would just
fact,
go
the next
bam,
time
bam.
the next time we attempt out the raid, I'm gonna not take any part in the first part
Me
Yeah.
too.
because I felt that
Yeah.
my particular characters are not effective against the first part of the raid.
Same.
No, you need some really niche guys there.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
where
thinking,
Akbar's gonna shine.
what about DACA? What do you guys think about DACA in the first part? Just bringing people back to life and then
Could be-
retreating. I don't know, like something like that.
Could be
Yeah.
very good. Yeah.
Could be okay. Yeah. I mean, what's annoying about the first part is that he this like almost impossible to stun. I'm pretty sure.
Well,
Is he
He's
immune?
impossible to. He's very difficult to stun the main guy. But in fact, if there's any phase of the entire raid where you can stun anything, it's that phase because his two little guys he keeps calling back can be stunned.
Oh yeah.
But
Whereas
he
for the
can't,
rest, no, I don't think so. Maybe he can if you're really lucky.
right?
But
Yeah.
so if anything, the only phase of the raid where stuns are any use at all is the first.
Yeah.
One other thing too is in the other phases when he doesn't have a debuff on him, he's significantly stronger, right? But it's really hard to get a debuff on him. He's pretty immune to stuns. Is he immune to stuns? Oh, God, I should know this. But healing immunity debuffs seem to go on him. I had like a level 70 Sid in the second phase, and I got a healing immunity debuff on him, which makes you do a lot more damage because he loses his armor buff and things like that. You know what I mean? Joe, I feel like you're checking this right now. Are you checking it?
No, I am looking at members of our guild complaining about the raid
Oh.
and trying to get a bit of feedback. So
Okay.
Yes, we're also officers of the guild, so we have to kind of manage time
Yeah.
that way as well.
Joe, you're
Sisters.
you were talking about someone saying that Tebow might be really good in one of the final rounds of the raid. Why was that?
So it's because of his stealth turn meter manipulation. So when he is stealthed and he attacks, he removes 75%. I want
It's
to
a
say
ridiculous
turn meter.
amount of turn meter. Yeah.
It's for the very same reason he's so effective in the tank challenge.
Right.
So
Of course.
you stealth him, and so that guy can basically never attack. This is coming from the same fella. I might as well give him the shout out. His name was Wendigo, and he was from the guild. I can't remember the name right now. They're a Brazilian guild. I'll just get it up. But he was saying that he took in a sort of tanky, healing old Ben and Tebow team, and he stayed alive for a really long time. He was from Club do Tonel. I'm pronouncing that horribly because they're Brazilian and I'm not. But they were one of the earlier teams to ever complete it. And that was his tip. He said take Tebow into the last phase because that turn meter manipulation with Ben doing debuffs was just real nice.
That's cool. I have both those characters, so I'm excited about that. Although I definitely don't have Tebow at 5 stars.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my new project.
But yeah, no, Old Ben is another one I was thinking would be very good in this raid.
But
Yeah.
that's another one of the joys of the raid is new projects.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
love it. So much room for activities.
And a reason to have kind of, we were talking about this in earlier episodes, just fringe picks, pocket picks that are good in certain places. It gives you a reason to have a broader roster. I'm sure the other side of that fence would be it forces you to have a broader roster, which costs a lot. But, it's just time over money or whatever, it's just going to take some time. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about before we get away from the guilds and raids was, Joe, you were mentioning the idea of raids being able to sync up on certain activity dailies, everyone getting first, right? So in our guild chat recently, you were talking about how the next time we did Galactic War, we should have everyone only do, what was it, 12? 12 nodes? 24 nodes, right? And then if everyone does 24 nodes, everyone would get first place. Which,
Yeah, because everyone can pretty much have a chance to do 36. And if you've got 36, you can definitely clear 24. You know,
Yeah.
especially in, in our particular guild. That's, the problem we have is if one person does
messes up.
35, then that poor guy has to come second. And this is the one, the margins of Galactic War are so small. It's, the maximum is 36. So it's so easy to align. Whereas if it's light side energy and stuff like that, that's just the margins are too fine. Yeah, it's too varied.
Yeah.
People, you're talking in increments of 6 and 12 and 16. Whereas with Galactic War, you're talking in increments of 1.
Yeah.
So you can pick a number and stay on it. And everyone's
Community Joe. Thinking of
Well,
everybody.
you could also do this on Saturdays, right? Is it Saturdays that's the PvP challenge?
Yes, 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 10 arena battles, that's incredibly easy for everyone to all sync up and get first place. So
It's a little bit more punishing for those people who maybe need
active
3 in
servers,
order to come first.
Yeah.
But I've never heard of anyone who needs 3 refreshes to come first. 2, yeah. 2 is my magic number. But my guild's
But
getting
2
so
refreshes would be 15 battles.
you don't have to play them all, though.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, 10
Yeah.
is just 1 refresh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to discuss it as a guild, but that's
Yeah.
the fun of it, right? You
You could do 15 easily, though. 15 is only 100 crystals.
the crystals, yeah.
In comparison to what all the other stuff costs, that's pretty minimal. But I was kind of surprised that, the first reactions are, oh, we're competing against each other, instead of people figuring out how to game the system and play with each other through it.
Yeah. Anyone saying that it's about playing against each other, probably someone who didn't come first and wasn't happy about it, and that's fair enough. Like if you're used to coming first in arena or whatever, all on your own volition, then it's easy to suddenly be like, oh wow, I joined a guild where everyone's way better than me, and now and that's our situation, right? We're all 3 of us are in a guild where there are at least half the guild are as good or better than us, or good is the wrong word, as active and involved. We're all good.
You get so many tips and tricks for community love here, Joe. We should have a little spin-off show, Community Joe.
Community Joe.
I don't know. It's the bit of the game that excites me. It's the same reason you hear me in the past complaining about arena, because it's this kind of just repetitive grind for victory. This is the bit where victory doesn't matter as much as like everyone having a good time, right?
Yeah, I fully agree. Yeah. As long as your guild's doing the challenges and you're part of it, it's fun to do. Okay, let's go into our next topic, and we're going to look at gear here. A lot of people have been especially focused on the MK5 furnaces. Some people pre-crafted them, and obviously that was a big deal. You can get to gear level 9, right? With
A lot of characters,
with a lot of characters, Genosian Soldier, IG-86,
Ray. Qui-Gon, Yoda. Oh, not Yoda. Yoda gets to 10 pretty smoothly.
Okay.
He gets to 9 pretty smoothly, sorry.
So
but, yeah.
There's a
All
lot.
right. Now, Joe, you and I were discussing this a little bit beforehand. Why don't you explain how at first it seems like you will never be able to get these, but that actually they probably are going to come.
Yeah, so again, it comes down to this, to the raid rewards, and I think a little bit of misunderstanding. One of the arguments going around is you're competing against your guildmates because only first, second, and third in the raid contributions are going to get those really nice shiny boxes, and you're going to get just one little box, or even worse, a blue one, or even worse, a green one. And so there's 4 boxes that can come as a raid reward. Gold ones, 2 tiers of purple one, a blue one, and a green one. And everyone's presuming that if you come less than first to third, you will never get a pre-crafted Mark V piece of gear that you need to take your guy to Gear 9. But if you read the descriptions on the boxes themselves, that's not the case. The gold ones I haven't looked too much into because we're running.
Just assuming you'll never get gold.
No, I haven't looked into them because it's only available in Tier 6. but I'm going to presume they're either a guaranteed chance or a very near guaranteed chance of getting a pre-crafted piece of gear. Bear in mind, it might not be the Mark V furnace you actually want to, or the HoloLens or whatever it is. Then if you open the next tier of purple box, if you read it, it says the best chance of getting one of these pre-crafted things. Then the second tier is a great chance of getting one of these things. And then the next tier is a good chance. And then even the green ones have a small chance of getting a pre-crafted piece of gear. So everybody has the chance to get this gear. It's just the guys who come first to third have more of a chance. And if you ask me, that's kind of how it should be.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
You come first and you get good things because you invested time and money into being first. Like that. I struggle to see the problem.
You can, if you're not getting these, you can spend quite a large amount of crystals in order to get them too, right? They are currently available in shipments. Now, I've seen a lot of people really frustrated about that also, but I mean, if those were cheaper in shipments, what does that do to the kind of overall pace of the game?
Right?
You would
Yeah,
just
exactly.
get them too quickly.
Yeah. And they're also available in arena shipments too. No, not arena. Sorry, guild shipments.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
They're very expensive there too. But again,
Super
if that's what you want to spend your money on, if that's more important to you than unlocking a new character, perfecting your core team, then there are channels available to you. And then
since the that one update, the level cap update, until now, the game has just kind of really slowed down and stretched out. But that's really good because it took almost no time at all, really, to reach level 70, have a good amount of people just to do some great damage. But then the game got boring. So I like that they're stretching this out and everything's going slower. So, it's not a complaint for me. This is a big
You have
compliment
something
to these guys.
to work towards,
Exactly.
right? Like a different reason to play besides just getting first every day.
Yeah, no, it's more game, more room for activities.
More game.
Yeah, more fun for everyone. Sorry if I'm a little distracted today.
Just,
We've got a lot of people who are feeling some of the negative emotions of playing this game.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, so let's have a bit of a topic change then. We've covered that. Let us know what you guys think. If you feel really kind of ripped off by this, why? What's making you feel this way? Do you want the game to progress quicker? Do you want to get back to the point where you have everything and you're expanding your roster? Because that's where we were before, right? We were at level 70. Everyone had hit that peak, and we were all just kind of starting to fill out other guys.
And just
Yeah,
waiting around, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was quite happy about that at the time, because
Yeah.
I didn't want it to progress too fast, and now that I had a bit of time to do that. I'm glad it's progressing, but progressing slowly.
Yeah, because we're progressing with it.
Yeah.
Rather
the
than
thing.
behind it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, though, starting from new, how long this game would actually take to get to the highest levels now. I feel like it would take a really long time.
There's a lot of content out there to know what to focus on more now.
Yeah, that's
When
true.
I first started, I didn't
There's a bit more
focus on it.
pitfalls.
Yeah, and you can join a guild from a relatively low level that didn't exist
Yeah,
when we did it, and start to get characters through new channels.
that's true. Yeah.
Which will accelerate everything a little bit more too.
Okay, so let's go on to character changes. Obviously, it wasn't just guilds and raids that came out in this patch. There are actually some really big character changes that, I for one was really excited about. As I said earlier, Ray shards are now available, which is really cool because, shouldn't swear. Ray is very good right now. Tarkin is available in Arena, or what's a Grandma Tarkin? Let's give a little golf clap for that. I'm sure we're gonna see so many people just getting
So
on
many
the
more
Tarkin.
Oh
train.
yeah, it's Tarkin
Man,
meta
I
coming.
want that guy to be good so bad. I think that character's cool, but he's not going to be. Akbar. Now, Joe, you wrote down Akbar changes in the notes. What did you mean by that?
So Akbar had his abilities changed a little bit, and when I should have been writing these things down so I could talk about them, uh, I was doing other stuff related to raiding in guilds, but he's had his kit just modified at the tiniest bit so that it makes a
I
I
remember
this
now.
yesterday, and I can't remember
Yeah.
what it was exactly.
he gets 100% turn meter when an ally uses up their turn meter on a special.
Oh yeah.
So, and his leader ability adds bonus attacks. So it's he's
Wait,
got a
really?
lot.
Like Phasma?
To a lesser degree, but yeah.
Wow. I've been
So he's
distracted
become
by all this guild stuff. That's cool.
yeah, and I've been distracted by so much that I forgot the biggest addition of all, which is A New Hope Han Solo.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so
Has
Akbar's
it been? Because it says abilities will be known when the first person unlocks this character. Has it?
no, because it can only be unlocked by completing the heroic raid, and
Yeah.
no one has had the time to do that yet.
Oh, is that what?
So
it is?
so the first team that unlock him will get a huge community spotlight thing with EA and all, and Capital Games and everything.
Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah, so the first one of those hardcore guilds out there. So I think a lot of the guilds have been testing the water with the tier 5. Obviously, some people are smashed out of the park in an hour, so those guys are on to tier 6 now. And then once they beat tier 6, tier 7 unlocks, and it's going to be pedal to the metal to see which guild gets that first Han Solo.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm excited about Han Solo.
One day we'll be completing heroic.
Yeah. And that day will be a long day to come, I think.
Yeah.
The app bar changes are great. I think they're really cool. Do you think that because of these changes we're going to see him in Arena? Do you think he's going to be run as lead more often?
I don't know about lead.
The difficulty with running him lead is that the characters that really make him sing, one of them, particularly Leia, is still Chromium only, and that makes her tricky. But I saw a 6-star Akbar in Arena today.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Who were they running him with?
I can't remember now. It was when I had just doing my first battle of the day and I'd been knocked down to the 30s, so it wasn't like a
you were slumming it.
I was slumming it down with the little guys. No, it was a slightly low. I mean, in the 30s, this is hardly a low level team though. I just noticed him in there, but I didn't fight that team.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Too scared, Joe.
Well, in a way,
You haven't seen him. He's uncharted territory.
I'd just rather fight a team I know how to beat.
Yeah. It's definitely, I feel like he's, for the people that we were talking about when they were at level 70 and they were taking their time to fill out their roster more, and they had kind of found no one left in arena shipments that they were going for, and they decided like, I'll just get this guy.
Yeah.
They must just be like, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Right now.
I have 30 Akbar shards because I was going for him before the protection update came out and Stormtrooper Han got so good, and then I stopped farming Akbar and moved to Stormtrooper Han.
Just chasing that EA carrot, eh?
Yep.
The EA meta carrot.
Yeah, well, I kind of got the memo that Sid was no longer good, so I just stopped him at sort of 5 and a bit stars and moved to.
You're lucky.
Akbar.
I feel like I just wasted so much time on Sid.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway.
All right. Well, let's talk about the new characters now. So we have Jawa Engineer. He's coming out. He's described as a high-speed Jawa healer with critical chance buff and both Jawas and droids synergy. Awesome.
What was that last synergy?
Jawa and droids synergy. Yeah.
The last one in particular.
Droid.
Yeah. We're gonna love this guy.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
the first thing I thought about as I was reading his skills are what could you cut from the droid team right now? I feel like the current meta droid teams are really, really like they don't have a very loose roster very much. Like I find it hard to think about where you would put this guy in. But before we talk about that, let's go through his abilities really quick for people that, I don't know, have been living under a rock. Miniaturized detonator is his basic. It applies a detonator to target enemy that detonates after 1 turn, dealing damage. So that's actually that's the first type of basic attack that doesn't do damage right away, right? Greedo has his grenade, but that's not as basic.
And the other one too, the Rebel.
Nuke Gunray has one as well, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder that could be an interesting thing to play around with when they release other characters that might, I don't know,
I kind of feel like it sucks, but
it could definitely suck.
Only because the rest of his kit is so good.
Yeah, I just don't
let's get
All right, so the next one is Patch Up. Jawa Engineer revives a random droid ally at 1% health, and then all allies recover 30% of their max health.
Crazy.
Yeah, good. And Recalibrate, which is all allies gain critical chance up for 2 turns. Jawa and droid allies also gain 45% turn meter. And then his unique, Danny's just like Danny's like the hype man for this.
Yeah.
Whoa! Hey! Crunch Time is his unique, which is Jawa Engineer has plus 12 speed for each Jawa or droid ally. So he could go real fast, right?
Oh, could go. His basic speed is 4th or 5th in the game.
Oh, okay. He's gonna go real fast.
He's a 152, so he's
first.
essentially he's gonna always go first.
As long as you're running with enough.
As long as you're running droids, which is the only thing you would run him out of.
As soon as we get Han will go first.
Yes, but
his one ability is he'll go first.
Yeah,
it's his
true.
unique.
His
he
unique
just gets to go
ability
first all the time.
All the time.
Always shoots first. This ability, Crunch Time, is what makes Recalibrate so powerful.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. It's if he's gonna instantly give everyone 45% turn meter, will that basically mean that all your droids get to go first, or it's a coin flip at least for their real quick characters? It could be, right?
And critical chance up, if you're running an HK lead, is further turn meter.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what's nuts about this is that it's not a leader synergy build thing, right? It's his own unique thing. You don't have to run this guy as leader. You don't have to make a sacrifice like people running Dooku's that are running him just for the dodge and nothing else or something like that. Like this is
like a
huge.
Leader ability that sits on one of your subs.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's
unique.
like RG's taunt without taunt. It's his leader ability without leader ability.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously the first thing to look at here is his synergy with HK-47 and therefore his synergy with other droids. Now, Joe, if you were going to run him with HK-47, what would you cut then from the droid squad to put him in?
GS.
Okay. You don't think you're going to lose a lot of damage there? So what, you're going to run IG-86, IG-88, Jawa Engineer, Poe,
and Royal Guard.
Royal Guard, and HK-47?
An HK-47 lead. And so, because what you really need to do is, so what Royal Guard helps you to do is protect the Jawa Engineer. So that he can, because the 86 and 88's biggest downside is that they can be one shot. Or very close to, now that protection's out. And so, as long as you can protect one or all of them, then I think not only do you get to use Recalibrate multiple times, you might get the chance to use Patch Up. The only thing about Patch Up is, despite seeming like a really amazing ability, I'm yet to see if you don't revive a droid, do you still get the 30% max health back? So that's the bit that I'm interested about.
Right. So you're saying you might even just use him as a heal.
Well, if it works, if you don't need to have a droid down for it to work, he could just be a heal.
Yeah, that makes sense.
While Royal Guard is still up.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, you can do that with Daka, right?
Yeah,
you use your ability and heal everyone.
I don't see why there would be any reason why you couldn't do that, because there isn't a current ability in the game, as far as I can remember, that is reliant on another thing happening.
Yeah, it's
you can always push that button, right?
Yeah.
I just thought of something amazing for his basic attack. I should start off a lot of my sentences with that. I just thought of something amazing. With
Your amazing mind.
With this basic attack, it won't trigger a Royal Guard. So if he's going first, right?
Yes. pop
Right.
it on one of their glass cannons. That's
Yeah,
gonna
some
get
guy.
the
Yeah, so you could take a guy low. He's already pretty low, and then that thing goes off and finishes him off. That would be awesome. Um,
It's going to be very easy for us to get caught up into some really deep strategy on this character.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I
all
reckon
in
we should
all,
move on.
if you like droids, you're going to really like this guy, but we don't see a place for him outside of a dedicated droids team.
I feel like I was just theorizing it, and maybe since with the new change to how counterattacks go through taunts now, so a taunt can stop a counterattack, maybe you're gonna see some AoE squads with this guy, where you run HK-47, then him, IG-86, and like Dacha or something like that, and Royal Guard.
IG-100. I was thinking Jawa might be the guy
Yeah.
who makes IG-100 come to life. Be a Magna Guard.
Yeah. So that kind of, burst AoE protected by Royal Guard, that could actually be a thing. Because before it just couldn't, right? You would just get destroyed by counterattacks.
Mm-hmm. And IG-100, his AoE also does 10 meter reduction.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah. And Dacha just does an AoE with stun. So yeah, there could be a way to play those off of each other too.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's get past this guy. I think we've talked about him enough. Let's talk about Gamorrean Guard. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but Gamorrean Guard. Also available in guild shipments. He's tanky, but pretty slow. He can expose with his special. He's the first guy that can choose a dedicated exposed target if it does land, of course. His taunt gives retribution, and he gets protection equal to 25% of his health while taunting. So if he's lower on health, he's not going to get as much. I mean, do you think this guy could be the replacement to RG?
Wait, can you repeat the protection thing again? He gains...
So he gains protection equal to 20% of his health while taunting. So if he's at lower health, it's 20%
So if
of
they
that.
cut his protection down, then he gains that back?
No.
What do you mean by protection?
Oh my god, I forgot that that's what they call it. I always think of it as the other one in my brain. Yeah, so he gains back protection. Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so his protection has to be away, and then he gains 20% of whatever his current health is in protection again. Huh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting.
We were prepped. We were prepped to talk about this guy.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's big too because you can't heal protection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the only guy that's currently giving this back.
Yeah, but it could also kind of be a great thing, yeah, because if your guy was at half health, let's say, and then he gets 20% protection and health, he's still on 70% health with protection, and then you heal him, and then he's on 100% health with protection. Because the heal would probably work under the protection.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were saying last episode that like heals are kind of not having a place anymore with his protection.
So maybe Gamorrean Guard is the guy who makes heals actually work. Yeah.
He could be really tanky. Now, it seems like he's going to be really slow. I looked at his basic speed. I think it was 103, but I'm not quite sure if that's at level 80 or not. But, I mean, if this guy's slower than all your other taunters, he could be hard to get off, right? And if he's not going to taunt before he's going to replace your squishies, what squads, or protect your squishies, what squads are you going to run him in? Now, I mean, I don't think this guy will replace Royal Guard, but maybe he's going to be best friends with him. Maybe we're going to get some, like, insane tanky squads.
Yeah, maybe they'll just go into battle holding hands all the time.
Yeah. He might get his own red dress.
Yeah.
I think Royal Guard could also be his worst enemy too, because I feel like the one thing that's it's gonna really depend on Gamorrean Guard's tenacity, which I presume will be very high, because once he gets stunned, he is dead weight. Most people are dead weight when they get stunned, but I feel like more than any other character.
Poe's not.
No, if he gets stunned, he can't get any of his abilities off early, and then you have free reign to wreck the rest of their team. and then it's just you versus Gamorrean Guard, and regardless of how good he is and his retribution and everything, you can just whittle him down to nothing.
Yeah, and what I was thinking too is that, okay, let's think about how you're going to play this guy. First turn, you're most likely going to want to taunt, so that means you can't use your expose the first turn, right? He does have retribution on his taunt, so he's going to be doing some damage that way. Now, the basic, let's see.
The thing about retribution and taunt is an insane combination, though.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
was immediately what I was drawn to about him. I just thought it's the perfect combination, especially now that counters are directed directly to taunt, because you can put him up and then do an AoE and just bait Dooku into killing himself.
He's just countering counters. Yeah.
But in that situation where you pop him as taunt and then you throw a bunch of AoEs at like a Dooku team, and Dooku is just going to keep slamming into the taunt, and then Gamorrean Guard just going to come back at him every time.
That's cool.
Oh, me.
Yeah. It's I wish it would be really cool, actually, I think, if his basic caused expose, because then he'd be really good, right?
Maybe too good.
Maybe too good, but it would be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He seems like maybe he'll have a place. The meta feels like it's getting slower, but not that slow. I wonder.
Yeah.
But so let's talk about the other changes weren't necessary to characters. They were to stun assists, which I think all of us are really happy about, right? So
Huge.
Danny, what did they change?
So, yeah, before, when you were stunned and you had a character that wasn't stunned and they called on an assist, sometimes it would trigger the character who was stunned. Now they changed that, so it doesn't trigger anyone who's stunned. So if you call an assist, you'll get an assist, no matter what. Which is just, I think, what a lot of people were complaining about, so they were like, okay, we'll fix that problem, and they did.
It's also just logical. Like,
yeah.
Why, you're in combat, you're standing around fighting, and your buddy there's like stiff as a board, and you're like, quick, you go.
Also, did they change the other illogical thing where if a person's stunned, they can dodge? They've changed that, haven't they?
I'm not quite sure they changed that one, actually.
This is also illogical.
Yeah. We'll have to look into that. My favorite thing with this new thing is with the predominance of Royal Guard is that when you get Poe's taunt off, if you're playing Poe and the droids, and then Royal Guard stuns him, and then when you're using your assist attack, you just never call on Poe. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're doing you a really big favor.
And then Poe still gets his day later now because he has protection. So
yeah.
It's like,
now, the other one is taunt changes. Obviously, we discussed them a little bit so far, but taunt changes have made it where whenever there's a counterattack, that counterattack will go through your taunt. I mean, I always thought that this should be the case. And it makes taunts even better, which taunts were already really good in this meta, right? So
yeah.
with taunts being so good in this meta already, do you think this just kind of makes him a little overpowered?
no, because, I mean, it's just a faster way to take down a taunt, maybe, if somebody figures out that way to just destroy the taunt. At the same time, somebody like Stormtrooper Han, where every time he gets attacked, that's his little bonus, right? He can get attacked like 50 times and be like, cool, now everyone else on my team can attack you, so...
Yep. Yeah. This was, I think it was simultaneously like a nerf to counter-attackers like Dooku, and a super buff to Stormtrooper Han. It's a nightmare getting through Han now. He was already much better after the protection update, and he's just got a little bit better with this too.
Yeah. He's so good. So
And then all other taunts just got, do their job as well, because, it seemed a little silly that you could just counter around the taunt anyway. Again, it's just one of those logic of battle things, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. It used to drive me nuts when I'd call in an assist attack onto a Dooku, and then both of your attackers just got stunned, even though you have a
Oh, and
taunt
that's
up.
another thing they changed as well, where if you assist attack, like say somebody like Dooku with a counter, he'll only counter the first
yeah.
person. He won't counter.
Forgot about that.
He won't counter the assist anymore.
Yeah, I love that every single one of these things just seems to be addressed directly at Dooku. We just
Mm.
mentioned it. We just mentioned him with every example.
Now, if only they could figure out a button that would just press speed up Dooku's 25 attacks, so I don't have to sit here and just be super bored while he's attacking me.
It just like amalgamates them all into one attack. Like
Yeah.
he takes out a bigger lightsaber, like a thicker blade, just dops
just-
you.
Just does 4 attacks at once. Yeah, please.
It's crazy though that all of these things look like minor nerfs to Dooku. It doesn't matter. He's still so good.
Yeah, he's still good. It doesn't
No,
matter.
that's good. That's a balanced, and I don't think it's so much about the Dooku thing. Just it's made taunts better and Dooku a little less good.
Yeah.
But the taunts needed to be better.
Yeah, they definitely do. Yeah, there needed to be a reason in the game to have them.
So we're running low on time, but
Yeah, we are.
it's time.
Let's go through. So our next part, first of all, Sunfac, or is that his name? What's
Yeah.
that?
Yep.
Yeah, Sunfac. So we'll discuss that guy on another episode.
Yeah.
Who cares? He's Chromium only. Next topic, it's more than a feeling. So for It's More Than a Feeling this week, we're doing, has dodge rate greatly increased? I feel like we have a little chat, as the viewers probably know, that we're always bitching about and stuff like that, and it just feels like dodge has gone through the roof recently. You know?
I messaged you guys today and said, did Dooku's leader ability change to 90% evasion for everybody? It's just ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous at this point.
And especially too with the predominance of Royal Guard, if you dodge an attack on your team and you've got Royal Guard on your team, it's huge. It's so big.
Yeah, the games I lose in Arena tends to be where I will kill someone perhaps or get them very low, and then when it comes time to remove a Royal Guard, he dodges 4 times, and then you've just used up your whole window for DPS, you know?
Yeah.
And I guess that's how he works. You know, I think everyone has pretty much settled on the fact that the best defense is the RNG,
Yeah.
the random. That's
the only
best
defense,
Yeah, it's the
really.
only defense, because everything else, the AI is so dumb, you can just out tactic it. So the only thing you can't out tactic is the roll of a dice.
Yeah. I have a guy on my server, and he continuously runs a team: Dooku Lead, Royal Guard, DACA, IG-86, and Genosian Soldier, and it makes my eyes bleed
Oh,
when I'm
that's-
playing against it.
Mine is Dooku, Royal Guard, Daka, Rey, Qui-Gon.
Oh,
every
yeah.
single team on my server runs that.
No, the one on your server, Greg, that's 90% of my server.
It's so
Awful.
gosh.
Awful team.
If they get more than 3 dodges, the game's pretty much out the window.
I think the unofficial name is the Dodge Stravaganza. seen it going around the forums anyway.
And also stuns too, right? On any of those teams, there's so many stuns with Daka, Royal Guard, Dooku, people coming back to life. It's crazy.
It's awful.
Okay, so let's talk about our next subject, which is our final subject, which is Wish Upon a Star. You gotta do this. So this is our section where we kind of just theory craft, kind of talk about stuff that we're hopeful for in the game that might be released. This week's subject is, what could arena tournaments look like and how could they be done? So we're talking about any sort of tournament that places your arena squad against other people's arena squads. There could be rewards, there could be anything. Let's hear what you guys got. Danny, what do you think?
So it's pretty basic round robin type of thing but this happens like after your arena has already finished. So right after your arena finishes, if you have placed in rank 1 to 5, then you get to go into an arena tournament. And this is like kind of a pool of all servers. But I think it's got to be, just logically, I think it has to be based on the same time period of when your turnover rate was for arena. Anyways, Little side note.
Right.
So if you're first, you play another first from another server, and if you place fifth, you play another fifth from another server, etc. Right? So if it's just a one-time thing. If you lose, you lose. But if you win, you go on to the next one. Pretty basic, pretty simple.
You got to be around for the right time too.
Yeah, exactly. I think another thing, which just makes it more logical, is just to have like a little time frame, maybe 2 to 3 hours. And yeah, I just think it could be a fun little extra addition to Arena. So if you like, always getting first, and then somehow like today, for me, getting like fifth or something, you just get really annoyed. Oh, I can still play and keep going and have something to work towards.
That's cool. It's like a bonus round.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fun.
I like that idea a lot. All right, Joe, I know you got to go soon, so why don't you go do your idea?
So yeah, I was just thinking that I really like the old Street Fighter, tag tournament style things where you can modify your team mid-battle. So you would go up against another team, and you would only know the opponent's leader. You wouldn't know the rest of their team. And as a member of your team died, you could sub them in for someone else from a roster that you established. So perhaps you could set 10 characters or 7 characters even at the beginning. And you have 2 subs, sitting on the substitutes, sitting on the bench, as we would say.
I like the sub idea.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
so the first person on your team who died, you can replace them with someone else. And that person might be, a direct counter to someone you've now found is on the opposite team. Because before the battle began, before the play had begun, you only knew the opponent's lead, which gives you a hint of what they might play. But they could also totally, throw a curveball. So it would be more like a...
It could also just be Dooku, and you're like, well, whatever it could be.
Every stun character you have, right? So yeah, I like the idea of modifying teams on the fly to just have kind of dynamic battles that change as you play them.
That's cool. I like that idea a lot. My idea, actually, the reason I brought this up to you was because I kind of wanted to hear what you guys thought about it. I like those ideas a lot. I wish, whenever we have this section, I always go away thinking like, God, I wish that was in the game. Actually, that'd be really cool. My idea was I kind of wanted people to be able to make their own tournaments so you could have a bit more community content, because I think it would just get the YouTube channels going a bit more. You could have even YouTube channel subscribers. These guys are going to go against this channel subscribers or something like that, or we're going to take on Yo-Yo Yoda or Just a Box Gaming, or those guys, and Lord Skunk go after it, and you could put out those things, and you could do it any way you want. So really all I want is to be able to challenge your friends to a duel, anyone on your list, or even to just challenge your guildmates to a duel. And then
guild battles would be great.
Go nuts with it, right? You could do anything you want. You could organize any tournament. You could do different levels. You could have level 30 only guys. You could have small weekly tournaments between a large round robin group of people. It would be amazing. It would.
So you're talking like no rewards, but just purely fun.
Nothing.
Let's make it. Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, only for the glory.
Yeah, like in Hearthstone, you can, when you take on your friends, it has no consequence.
Yeah.
And guilds in Clash Royale, another great phone game, have the same thing. You can do friendly challenges against anyone in your guild. It doesn't have all the parameters that you're talking about, Greg, where you can set levels and set only these.
Oh no, I'm not saying don't even give us the option to do that. Make it solely user based, where
and then we can just organize
choose.
it ourselves. Yeah.
So if somebody comes in with an 80, they're out of the tournament or something like that.
Yeah. Another thing that this could do with on that same thing is another thing Clash Royale has is sharing replays.
Oh yeah.
So you can do in guild battles and then share the replay to everyone in the guild if it was a particularly good match.
I would love to just share replays in general. So you could share a replay with your guild, being like, "Look how much I just got stomped by this team," or whatever. It'd be cool.
It would be mostly whinging about how stun is overpowered, I reckon.
Yeah, that would be 50% of it at least. Yeah. All right. So our last topic before we go really quick. One of the cool things about guilds being out now is seeing people's hilarious names. I love looking at the top 10 of my server now and just seeing people's guild names. It's good. It's just adds a new element to it, right? So, Joe, what's one of the best ones you've seen so far?
My favorite I saw was actually on Danny's server. He posted, we tend to post each other like our arena rankings every day, and I saw on Danny's list of characters was a team called Let Qui-Gons Be Qui-Gons, which I thought was a very, very good guild name.
I think actually that was from mine, unless there's one on yours.
Oh,
no, I'm pretty sure it was Greg's.
It was mine. Yeah, it's actually my nemesis on the server. That's his guild. And then Danny, what was one that you saw?
I saw one on my server that was she likes to be force choked. I don't know why that made me laugh so much. It just made me laugh.
Because you have a terrible soul.
And another one too that I saw was the 50 Shades of Rey, which is great. Yeah.
And a side note, I'd like to see the Han Cholos.
Yeah.
You could,
yeah.
Maybe that Brazilian group you're talking about.
Yeah.
All right.
So essentially, we like the really off-color, borderline racist guild names. Keep them coming.
Yeah, keep them coming. Let us know in the comments if you guys have seen any things that really made you laugh. We hope you like this episode. Like and subscribe, and we gotta take off. Thanks, guys. It's great, Danny and Joe here from Ritual Gaming, and we'll catch you next time.
See you later.